Hey guys, welcome to another episode in the deep playthrough of Mankind Divided. We are investigating or scrounging through the apartment of Adam's boss in TF29, the Interpol agency, who is out of town for a while because to see where his true loyalty lies. So we are now reading his laptop. Here we go. From Rami Langos to Jim Miller. Jim, I can't find anything on VersaLife attack in San Francisco. The only stuff we have is on suspected funding, etc. I can't find anything on a VersaLife attack in San Francisco. The only stuff we have is on suspected funding, etc. You're the guys with the ARC problem, remember? Are you sure it was on our location? Also, not sure I'm comfortable with these offline requests, Jim. I want to help out for sure, but we have a pretty good pipeline for this stuff. And they get pretty twitchy sending content without fingerprinting. If there's a system glitch, then Systech needs to know. As far as I can tell, everything's green over here, so whatever's looking you out must be on your side. Must be your side. Jen's doing great, by the way, thanks. After the kids started the new school, when we got here, she's finally been able to kick back and relax a bit. Hopefully things will keep improving. Rami Langos, Jim Miller, me again, scratch that last mail. Seems we do have a file on an ARC incident apparently. The system threw it up on the last change list, so they must have been late on the updates. I don't want to risk sending it off pipeline, but it's definitely there. Now if you do an L3 access search, but it's definitely there now if you do a L3 access search. You should ask for temp creds if it's still a problem. Search for working label A219.04. This is a surprise to me, to be honest. I've only been here a year, but I hadn't heard of any ARC activity happening stateside. This must be pretty fresh. Good luck. Right, so apparently I was thinking that the top mail would be the most recent, like in a regular inbox, but here it goes down, which probably is just because it's a game and people mostly start reading from the top, I guess. But I actually always mostly started reading from the bottom, just to do it more chronologically, but I did it like the opposite as I intended to, because the most recent is down below. I take it from these two mails. Alright, additional request, Lockjaw to 20. From Jim Miller, Lockjaw to 20. Read my earlier mail where you're looking into who assigned him to that position. I'd be very curious to also know his history the past couple of years. Something's definitely up. Appreciate anything you can get me on this, mate. Thanks. Will do, EE. Alright. I cannot get that much from there. Alright, are there any... this really is a safe room. It also seems like a house which could hide like a praxis point, I would think. But if praxis points are in a locker, I will not steal it, but I will be... I didn't check any drawers yet, but because praxis point don't pop up on the smart vision or any content if it's in a drawer. So I really have to check that manually. But this does make it a bit suspicious with all his drawers being open suddenly. Anyways, here we go. What's this? Yeah, just regular weapons. Don't need that. Man, check it out. Nice view. Very nice view. Anywho, pretty cool. I did not find anything So they already said he would be hiding anything pretty well. But I was like, yeah, it's not that difficult. It's over here and it's over there. But unless I've overlooked something in here. Ah, nice. I overlooked one of those collectibles. Not that they're useful for anything. Because the app that they are working for, check out this weathered box.
Hey, Adam. I'm still waiting in the small courtyard on Havani Street. Where are you?
Sorry, I got caught up in something. I'm on my way.
Hurry up.
Ah, I already found what is needed, apparently. Meet search Miller's apartment. Alright, we did it. Search Miller's apartment paid off. I found his NSN access card inside a secret room. Before I use it, Alex wants to meet me in the courtyard of Havani Street. Sounds like she's uncovered something new. Alright, let's do that. And what was I saying? Ah, yeah, that little collectible. I just do it because they are there. Right, we have one new collectible. Jim Miller, office keycards. A keycard imprinted with Jim Miller's biometrics. It is used to access and operate a neural subnet. Here they are. They are actually meant for some kind of a mobile app, but that mobile app is already long since phased out. Alright, before going, let's quickly see if there's anything like a praxis point, which would be nice. I don't think so, but it can never hurt to check. Oh, putting on his oven. Accidentally. Would he be hiding practice points in his bathroom? I don't think so. Anyways, can we also open up this one? Yes. Ah, it actually fills up. So much nice detail. Man, it's such a cool game. Oh. Alright, let's just get out of here. Hello.
Do you believe this? Why are the police not clearing the streets? It's ridiculous.
Good point. By the way, I was selling all my neuropazine because I thought that was the only purpose of them. I now have only 3, but apparently there are some people in the world that will take neuropazine for a favor or access or secrets or something.
Move along.
Which is pretty cool. So I will for sure keep some spare of them.
They should have stayed in bed.
Warrior and girls.
Rada, let's stay quiet.
Eski miasto, hell.
Right, there is TF29 and the little courtyards. Is it over here? Ah. It's at the back.
Great.
Just make.
Alex wants to meet me in a courtyard of Havani Street.
Get through this
Right.
shift.
Alex, where the hell are you?
Alex, you here?
Tell me something. When you were a little boy, did you make your mama wait for you a lot?
Usually it was the other way around.
Good, because if you were my boy, I'd have smacked you.
You said you got something on VersaLife.
Yeah. A couple of months back, a research assistant was found dead in the Roca Seca beach facility. Special Projects Division. She was poisoned, just like Rucker.
She. You got her name?
Anique Norstad. Why? You know somebody there?
Doesn't matter. Forget it.
I can't stand VersaLife, Adam. Back when I was flying for Bell Tower in Panama, I stumbled into deep shit with them. They're the reason I've got a target on my back. They told my bosses to kill me.
If they're involved in this, we'll get them. We just need to know what this is.
Rucker gave me this before he died, said it could prove ARC is being set up. The email on it reads like activation orders to me. Tell me more about this researcher.
Rucker gave me this before he died. Said it could prove ARC is being set up. The email on it reads like activation orders to me.
Where'd he get it? Whose is it?
I've got a suspect in mind, but nothing to prove it. Until I do, can you get Janus or one of your Juggernaut friends to backtrace the IP address?
Yeah, man, no problem. Listen, about VersaLife. The information we found on Norstad was buried deep. No police report, no autopsy. Just a footnote on an insurance claim, calling it an industrial accident.
She was working with dangerous pathogens, wasn't she?
Supposedly. Janus thinks there's more to it. He's the one who found the report. Said it was off.
Off how?
Lots of blank spaces and missing details. Didn't really go into it.
And you didn't think to ask, did you?
You saying I fucked up?
I'm saying Janus thinks a lot of things and somehow always manages to find the answers when nobody else can. You don't find that odd? No, not at all. You just seem to put a lot of faith in Janus's opinion, that's all.
I'm saying Janus thinks a lot of things. And somehow always manages to find the answer when nobody else can. You don't find that odd?
I find it reassuring. The Collective has people everywhere gathering all kinds of intel. But Janus is what holds us together, helps us make sense of it. He picks the signal out of the static.
And yet you've never met him.
Nobody meets Janus. Nobody even knows where he is, who he is, hell, even what he is. You get used to it after a while. For me, the key thing is what he finds. Norstad was poisoned, Adam, just like Rucker. Are we looking at some kind of bioweapon here?
Miller's access card might help us find out.
How? I don't follow you.
NSN exchanges are stored in the system's cloud memory. If I log in as Miller using his access card, I might be able to play back more of that conversation he had with the bosses.
Shit, Adam, this isn't like planting a bug. You have to actually use the chair. For a while. If anyone catches you.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
Your call. But I want to be plugged in and listening the whole time you're in there. Just be careful, man. Call me when you've accessed the machine.
Alright. Let's use that device. And also, I had that option, like give the evidence or keep it. And of course I wanted to give it, because that was also when I took it. There was a conversation with Miller, and I also got the option, I think, to give it to him, or the alternative was give it to Vega or Alex, the girl we just met. So, yeah, why wouldn't I give it to her? But that other option, keep it, and actually if you scrolled on it, it was not like nothing. He was... Adam would have said a different dialogue option. I don't remember exactly, but some kind of follow-up question. And I was actually also quite curious about what would come up out of that dialogue branch. tree, so to say. Tree branch. But yeah, I didn't want to risk it because I was not sure whether the give it option would afterwards still pop up. Probably not. And in hindsight, probably certainly not. Because no, that's also not true. I wanted to say that other option now also didn't pop back up. But that cannot pop back up because that was the keep it option, and that would be after I've already given it to her. Yeah, sorry, I'm just overthinking it, but I just wanted to also listen to that other dialogue option. Of course, you can do that by saving the game before and then just reloading it and choosing other options. But yeah, that's maybe a little bit too much. Anywho, we need to make our way to the bank. One moment.
City has gone to hell.
You have no idea what it's like.
How much? That's not bad.
Já vím. Viděl jsem to ve zprávách, nemusím.
Criminals and
Sorry if I didn't make sense, by the way, on that dialogue thing. It's kind of hard to explain what I meant. And I'm also overthinking it. I'm really good at that. Right, let's get...
Absolutely secure. Data extractors have never breached.
Where was he again?
hackers are everywhere. Not here.
Exactly.
No, we don't need to go to the bank. I'm an idiot. We need to get to TF29. And then we can immediately check something cool. Which is, there is like this board with all kinds of clues that I noticed before. But I understood you can actually...
Listens to that
I think I
garbage.
took
What
the
the
wrong
hell?
street. The cool thing of it is that
Your eyes open.
you can actually... Why did I go right there? No idea. There's a guy standing around, I read about. You can actually get a lot of... He will explain a lot of the clues. So let's do that first, before going to Miller's office. Alright, here we go. Let's close the door.
Feels like everyone is paranoid.
True. Alright, let's check out that clue panel.
Someone's hacking into the server and reading
Alright, just checking out the sign. One moment. Weird symbol, by the way. Global Anti-Terrorism Division, Task Force 29. Yeah, you could see a T and an F in it. Maybe. with a lot of imagination. Again, such nice architecture, like old classical wooden beams, and then this super futuristic cyberpunk intelligence units. Ah, there's the briefing room. Or is it forensics? No, we need the briefing room. No.
That's gotta raise some eyebrows.
I think there was a wall somewhere with clues. God damn it.
Be in Gollum City.
He told me as
There
long
it
as
is.
it takes. He's coordinating with
Cybercrime. Here we go.
I've managed to track Vince all the way to the repertory cinema yesterday.
You could put the name of every
The
organization
camera
on
doesn't
board
show
to
him
the
going
dark
out.
side.
There must have been another exit.
He meets
Alright, so there are still a lot
Should I
of
know?
things
Dozens of people
unaccounted
walked
for.
the next hour, but I didn't recognize
Ah,
any
what
of
to
them.
say about the
security
Juggernaut
system.
Collective that isn't speculation. A bunch of their members were running operations out of Montreal in 27, resurfacing for a while in 28. You heard of the Rifleman Bank Station? Bell Tower? Anyway, the Collective is a group of hacker activists, or hacktivists. Oh my god, I hate that word. Dedicated to the cause of freedom. At least that's what they say, or what their actions appear to say. They fight corruption by exposing hypocrisy and protecting the unprotected. No one knows the real power structure inside of the Collective, but there is one name that echoes over the darknet. And that name that echoes even louder than Hex, and you can talk to Peter Chang if you don't believe me, that name is Janus. And some say Janus runs everything, while others think there is no Janus.
I guess that's what makes them so hard to break into.
Right, so this is the J of the Juggernaut Collective, I think.
Can be removed physically.
This is also the
They have
symbol
several
we
alternate
saw
entrances, like
on
secret
several
passageways.
bins and things in the city that were photographed by a person that was also tailing Adam and monitoring him in like a garage a couple of episodes ago. 3 or 2 episodes ago.
Ah, what to say about the Juggernaut Collective that isn't speculation. A bunch of their members were running operations out of Montreal in 27, resurfacing for a while in 28.
It's whoever
You heard of the Rifleman Bank Station? Bell Tower? Anyway, the Collective is a group of hacker activists, or hacktivists. Oh my god, I hate that word. Dedicated to the cause of freedom. At least that's what they say, or what their actions appear to say. They fight corruption by exposing hypocrisy and protecting the unprotected. No one knows the real power structure inside of the Collective, but there is one name that echoes over the darknet. And that name that echoes even louder than Hex, and you can talk to Peter Chang if you don't believe me, that name is Janus.
We could put the name of every organization on
runs
board to a dark side.
everything, while others think there is no Janus.
Or it's annoying if you take the same one, that you have to listen to it.
That's the materials needed.
It's whoever we're not thinking of.
The Church of the Machine God has a leader, but all we know about her at this point is that she's a woman, and they call her Mother. That's creepy, right? I think that's really creepy.
True. Ah, they're not all that long.
All we can do is speculate until someone...
Here we go, the Church of the Machine God, and to some, the Church of the Machine, without the God. And then again, to others, the Singularity Church of the Machine God. This group has so many names and subgroups, it's hard to keep track. And believe it or not, they've been around in one form or another since the early 1970s. There are a lot of contradictory reports on who they are and what they want, but in general, they all want the same thing. They want to merge their consciousnesses and become
you've got to
one
look
with
at
the
the
Machine
obvious
God
first,
through a
right?
ritual they call Ascension.
Right.
Could be anyone, really.
Annoying those other loud voices while he is talking.
Janus. I mean, what can you say about him? Or her. Nobody really knows who or what Janus is. But what many believe is that Janus is running the most dangerous hacking group in the world, attacking corrupt politicians and businesses on a global scale. The corporate world is terrified of Janus.
It's whoever we're
The
not
New
thinking
Sons of Freedom, or NSF, is a small group of militant constitutionalists and secessionists operating in the continental United States, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. The group was formed as a reaction to the American government's increasingly authoritarian regime. NSF is committed to fighting the influence and control of a group of unknown people they believe to be the Illuminati with strategic guerrilla warfare strikes. They are suspected of having ties with Janus and the Juggernaut.
I don't know. Shit they did. You could put the name of every organization on the
Man,
board
that
to a
other
dark side.
random chatter in the background should be a little bit quieter. Super interesting. This guy is explaining everything.
Art doesn't make sense because
Here
of,
we go.
you know,
The Church of the Machine God, and to some, the Church of the Machine, without the God. And then again, to others, the Singularity Church of the Machine God.
You've got to look at the obvious
This group
first.
has so many names and subgroups, it's hard
You
to
could
keep
put the
track.
name of every organization
And believe it or
on the
not,
board
they've
to a
been
dark
around
side.
in one form or another since the early 1970s. There are a lot of contradictory reports on who they are and what they want, but in general, they all want the same thing. They want to merge their consciousnesses and become one with the Machine God through a ritual they call Ascension. The editor of Samizdat is a man known only as
Could be
Kane.
anyone, really.
He works out of an underground newsroom somewhere in Prague, which is the principal hub for an extensive network of secret sources and rogue journalists working all across Europe.
The amount of data this showed is huge.
I don't know. We could put the name of
Samizdat
every
is an
organization
underground
on the
news
board
outlet
to a
that
dark
prides
side.
itself on being the anti-Picus. They offer incisive and opinionated takes on current events and eagerly disclose sensitive information and or leak documents to the public. Sometimes this information comes from secret sources, and sometimes it comes from actively hacking or even breaking into places where sensitive information is kept. Journalistic integrity and a genuine commitment to truth tends to balance the organization's more extreme-leaning conspiracy bent.
Because of, you know,
For every wild
the
speculation, there are at least 4 reasoned arguments backed by tangible evidence. Of course, a tinge of paranoid conspiracy mongering is inevitable, given that members of the group are considered criminals. Any kind of intelligence or international security agency is rightly very nervous about Samizdat's cowboy approach to information liberation.
Alright, that really, he talks so quickly, I can hardly make it out.
Samizdat is an underground news outlet that prides itself on being the anti-Picus. They offer incisive and opinionated takes on current events and eagerly disclose sensitive information and or leak documents to the public. Sometimes this information comes from secret sources, and sometimes it comes from actively hacking or even breaking into places where sensitive information is kept. Journalistic integrity and a genuine commitment to truth tends to balance the organization's more extreme-leaning conspiracy bent. For every wild speculation, there are at least 4 reasoned arguments backed by tangible evidence. Of course, a tinge of paranoid conspiracy mongering is inevitable, given that members of the group are considered criminals. Any kind of intelligence or international security agency is rightly very nervous about Samizdat's cowboy approach to information liberation.
Alright, whatever.
Rucker's dad has got everything on the web domain.
You've heard of these guys. ARC, or the Augmented Rights Coalition. They're a human rights group who, on the surface at least, is trying to provide equal rights for augmented people. It was started by Dr. Talos Rucker, soon after the AUG incident when Rucker started to speak out against the anti-AUG legislation that was being passed by several local governments. If you ask me, it's not working. They seem to be getting worse. ARC preaches non-violence, but a string of terror attacks has put them on the terror watch list. So I'll let you be the judge. Dr. Talos Rucker, former medical doctor and former leader of the Augmented Rights Coalition, now deceased.
We could put the name of every organization on a board to a dark side.
Everything we know about this guy can fit on one yellow sticky note. We know his name, Viktor Marchenko, if that's his real name, and nothing else. I mean, we can't find a trace of him anywhere.
Man, this is so cool for the background again. The environmental storytelling of this game is off the charts.
You know as much as I do about these guys. They're augmented, well-trained, and very dangerous.
Doesn't make sense because
and they seem to be massing weapons and AUGs for some sort of attack. We don't know what yet. Ah, Agent Singh, great poker player. I still owe him 100 credits. So I hope his incursion with the Jinn lasts another few months. You know, maybe he'll forget I owe him the money.
Could be anyone, really.
Ah, Wasim Alam, the head of the Jinn, former limb clinic doctor and surgeon before he turned to more profitable enterprises. He brings the same cold and calculated approach he brought to saving lives to running his business with his brother,
Could be
Salar.
anyone, really.
What did he say? What approach?
Remember the days when people would claim responsibility
Ah,
for the horrible shit
Wasim
they
Alam,
did?
the head of the Jinn, former limb clinic doctor and surgeon before he turned to more profitable enterprises. He
could
brings
put the
the
name
same
of every
cold and
organization
calculated
on the board
approach he
to a
brought to
dark
saving lives to running his business with his brother, Salar.
Right, and then real name
Art doesn't
John
make
Trent.
sense because of, you know, the obvious.
I would have thought you'd had your fill of these guys since Dubai, Jensen. The Jinn, a group of smugglers led by twin brothers Salar and Wazim Alam. Their exact base of operations is unknown, but it's most likely in Muscat, Oman. The brothers Alam have been in operation since 2020 and have greatly expanded their operations since then, recruiting mercenaries, ex-military, nationalistic agitators, and other colorful criminal agitators from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the surrounding region. They deal in drugs, weapons, medical implants, augs, and they occasionally throw in some human trafficking.
Right, but I wanted to...
Art doesn't make sense because of,
check that guy.
obvious. He's made the most noise.
I would have thought
on
you'd had your
pro-op.
fill of these guys since Dubai, Jensen. The Jinn, a group of smugglers led by twin brothers Salar and Wazim Alam. Their exact base of operations is unknown, but it's most likely in Muscat, Oman. The brothers Alam have been in operation since
All we can do is
2020
speculate
and
until
have
someone
greatly
steps
expanded their
up.
operations since then, recruiting mercenaries, ex-military, nationalistic agitators, and other colorful criminal agitators from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the surrounding region. They deal in drugs, weapons,
made the most
medical
noise in
implants,
the pro-op
augs, and they
position on
occasionally
board
throw in
the
some
guard
human
set.
trafficking. I would have thought you'd had your fill of these guys.
God damn it.
The Jinn, a group of smugglers led by twin brothers Salar and Wazim Alam. Their exact base of operations is unknown, but it's most likely in Muscat, Oman. The brothers Alam have been in operation since 2020 and have greatly expanded their operations since then, recruiting mercenaries, ex-military, nationalistic agitators, and other colorful criminal agitators from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the surrounding region. They deal in drugs, weapons, medical implants, augs, and they occasionally throw in some human trafficking.
Art doesn't make sense.
This
because
guy
of,
is the
you know,
face of the Jinn and a charismatic
Rucker's
force
dad
of
has
nature.
got everything
They
on
call him the
lockdown.
Bull of the North and the Heart of the Jinn. Real name Salar, works in conjunction with his cold and calculating brother, Wasim, who saved his life during the AUG incident. He is proudly augmented and parades his AUGs around wherever and
It's
whenever
whoever
he
we're not
likes.
thinking of.
The hatred of AUGs from groups around the world has only emboldened him and his organization.
Art doesn't make sense because of, you know, the obvious.
Purity First is an anti-AUG group dedicated to keeping humans human, all pure, no augmentations.
Well,
In their
you've gotta
obsessive
look at the
pursuit of this
obvious
goal, they have
first,
taken
right?
extreme measures and are suspected of being responsible for multiple acts of breaking and entering, vandalism, and theft. On occasion, they've even become violent, being implicated in several assaults and murders as they push for their goal of human
It's
purity.
whoever we're not thinking.
They've been quiet since the incident.
If I have
Right.
anything, I'll let you know.
Ah, the elusive Radic
know.
Nikoladzhi. This guy's
You
a
could put
piece
the name
of
of
work,
every organization
driven
on a board
and
and put
ruthless.
guards at it.
When he came up, he was the youngest boss in the Diwali crime family. The man spends more money on suits than most people spend on their houses. But don't let the looks and the
I don't
haute
know.
couture fool you.
We could put the
He's the
name of every
boss, he's in
organization on a
control,
board and
and
put
he
guards
squashed
at it.
more than a few people who've tried to take him down along the way.
Needle in a haystack.
Otar Botkavelli. This guy's a
It's whoever we're not
classic.
thinking.
They don't make many like him anymore. Sharp mind, a real businessman. One of those gangsters who thinks that crime is a necessary evil. No, if it's gonna happen, he's there to make sure people have respect and make good money. Good business.
Art doesn't make sense because of, you know, the obvious.
Otar's right-hand man is this guy, Vano. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, if you know what I mean, but he's strong and loyal, something
If I
Otar
have
values
anything,
greatly.
I'll let you know.
Could be anyone, really.
Ah, the Diwali called this guy Constantine. Like that's supposed to be intimidating, right? We don't have a last name for Constantine, but until his death in the Rizika bombing, he was a high-placed member of the Diwali crime family, answering to Otar
I don't know.
Botkavelli.
We
We
could put the
suspect
name
he
of
has
every
lots of
organization
connections in
on
the
the
upper
board and
echelons of the
guards at it.
organization, all the way up to Radic Nikoladzhi and beyond. Between you and me, I suspect that he's a Khan, a spy that watches a Diwali lieutenant closely to make sure he doesn't make
It's
a move on
whoever
the
we're
boss.
not thinking of.
We did have a side mission indeed
doesn't make sense
about a
because of,
guy
you know,
who was
the
indeed
How many have they lost in the last 3 months?
watching. There is a power struggle with this guy, second in command, with the Otar
Could be anyone,
Botkavelli. I don't really remember this dude, but let's see. One moment. Nope, I cannot find it anymore, but... There was like... Man. Ah, that was the color guy, I think. Oh shit, does that mean he's dead? I think color, that is the augmentation guy, the augmentation doctor, where I hope we can go back to fix all those overclocked augmentations, which make it so that I cannot use them all at once. I think he had also some kind of a deal with Otar Brodkevelli, and in keeping that second guy in check. So I don't hope he is now dead, because
the obvious.
And there was also a police line near Adam's apartments. Some kind of a crime scene. Maybe I should check it out, because I also see one of those police bands over there. I read somewhere that if I think I let somebody go or something, yes, Otar asked me to take out a guy,
organization on the board until darts that.
and I didn't do that. I let him go, and I read somewhere on the forum that if you do that, there's a chance that Color might die, and then you cannot fix your ops anymore. So I really don't hope that that is Color over there. Let's check this one more time.
Oh, here we go. The Diwali crime family. As you may already know, they're one of the largest crime syndicates in Eastern Europe, but they do business almost everywhere, from Northern Europe all the way to the Middle East. After their humble beginnings in a coastal town in Georgia, the Diwali quickly moved from gambling to more lucrative criminal enterprises, till they found their specialty, smuggling, which includes human trafficking too. The Diwali can get anything to anywhere. It's as if borders just don't exist to them. But their rapid expansion came at the cost of their Georgian purity when they started incorporating an ever-increasing number of Russians into the group. If you ask me, I think a major power struggle is coming within the Diwali. One of the old versus the new. The past versus the future.
The amount of data to ship is huge.
Alright, but who is this guy again?
Oh, here we go. The Diwali crime family.
No!
As you may already know, they're one of the largest crime syndicates.
Damn it!
But they do
not
business
pointing to that one, I'm pointing to this one.
After their humble beginnings in a coastal town in Georgia, the Diwali quickly moved from gambling to more lucrative criminal
enterprises. Man, this is annoying that you cannot cancel this out.
Which includes human trafficking too. The Diwali can get anything to anywhere. It's as if borders just don't exist to them. But their rapid expansion came at the cost of their Georgian purity when they started incorporating an ever-increasing number of Russians into the group. If you ask me, I think a major power struggle is coming within the Diwali. One of the old versus the new. The past versus the future.
Right, let's try it one more time. So I only want to hear about him.
Oh, here we go. The Diwali crime family.
God damn it.
As you may already
God damn it. This is annoying.
Almost everywhere, from Northern Europe all the way to the Middle East. After their humble beginnings in a coastal town in Georgia, the Diwali...
Oh man, I really cannot hear him anymore. The fact that you cannot cancel that out, while it's so common for players to accidentally hit the duplicate dialogue trigger, that you cannot cancel it, is just crazy.
If you ask me,
I really don't understand oversights like that. Oh my god, especially these long ones. Alright, and probably here we will get the same one.
No, the obvious.
Oh, here we go.
Oh
the
my god,
crime
it's the
family.
same one.
As you may already know, they're one of the largest...
Usually all these...
I don't know.
Alright, I really have to get out of here. I'm totally frustrated. Usually each picture has like a separate story, and with the Diwali all of them, or most of them, trigger the same dialogue, and you cannot cancel it out, and it's a super long dialogue. How does stuff like that get to beta testing? I cannot understand it. Oh my god, I really cannot hear that guy anymore. Alright. I think we're done. So this is all Diwali. That one we already had. The Jinn we had. These mask guys we had. This is some other high level Diwali guy. Rucker, dead. Marchenko, that's probably the terrorist guy. Then we have Samistad. We have another new group I never heard of. New Sons of Freedom. It's a bit reminiscent to Metal Gear Solid groups, the name. This is, I need to know, this is the symbol of the Juggernaut Collective. I wasn't aware. And then we have the Church of the Machine Gods. I wonder whether more pictures will pop up
doesn't make sense because
the further you get into the story. But anyways, the board itself in these descriptions, despite the fact that you cannot cancel them manually if you accidentally trigger a duplicate one, it's really nice. Nicely done. Alright, let's quickly read this and then I have to end the episode. Angelo Rizzo from Vincent Black. Angela Rizzo. Angie, I trust your hunches better than most people's evidence. There's no way, if the Diwali number 2 owns it, that the storage locker is 100% clean. I'm in the middle of something I can't break away from right now. Check it out yourself quietly. Tell me what you find. Reference mail from Angela to Vince. Suspicions. Vince, you know the courtyard just down the street from us? I go there sometimes to grab a snack after work, and there's one storage locker there that always felt a little suspicious. Well, today I learned it belongs to Otar Botkovelli. We can't go in there officially without a warrant, and my hunch obviously isn't enough to get us one, but it did crack the code to the door, 3874. One of us could go in unofficially just to see what's inside. What do you think, boss? NG. Yeah, I already checked that one, I'm pretty sure.
All we can do is speculate.
Anyways, let's in the next episode we will be going into that NeuroNet server subnet, Neuro subnet server or something, to eavesdrop on. Where the hell does this go? To eavesdrop on Miller. Holy shit! Check it out. Where does this
I'll let you
end?
know.
Ah, to the servers. And here he is, Jim Miller's office. So this is where we need to get in. I think we can just, we have the key cards. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you in the next one. For the meantime, do not forget always to keep on gaming. See you later.